It's your daily dose of Donna. Happy Monday, May 19th. I hope everyone is having a phenomenal day. It's a gorgeous day here in Los Angeles. How is it over where you guys are in your neck of the woods? How Mr. Rogers of me is it to say that? How's everyone doing? Oh my goodness. Just, a last minute prep before today's episode, just because we had so many legal filings in this last hour. This is what Blake and Ryan like to do. They like to keep us on our toes. Every day, a new filing. Every day, a new PR play. Every day, a new obnoxious paparazzi picture holding hands, pretending like everything's fine. It's just the way Blake likes to play. I am so excited to get into it. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to cover. She kept us fed all weekend long. All weekend long. This is my trainer, Natalie from F45. I am dying that you're here on my live YouTube. She sees me every day. Natalie in the comments, you are going to be, you're going to vouch for me. What do I do while I work out all day long in the workout? What am I doing while I work out? I sit there. I work out. I work out hard. She's partially responsible for the arms, but what else do I do while I work out? I watch the trial. I watch the trial all day long during the workout. Karen Reed is on my mind from morning till night. And trust me, every day she comes over to me. She goes, "What's going on? What's going on? Who's winning?" And I go, "Not the Commonwealth, I'll tell you that." So much to get us into. If you guys do want a good arm workout, yesterday on Patreon, I gave you a full arm workout. I did. I walked you through my arm workout, like a basic arm workout, and we talked crap about Blake and Ryan. We talked about Mauricio and Kyle. We talked about mom talk and the fact that I still don't know the difference between Jesse and Demi. We talked about all kinds of things. And before we get into today's show, and I do have a special guest who's going to pop in whenever he feels like it. He comes in as he pleases. We will talk about the fact that Dosers Live is coming up. We are, like I said, we are over 50% sold out. So if you want to join me here in Los Angeles on August 23rd, so we can do it all in person, maybe I'll do a live workout. Maybe that's what it'll be. It will just be a live workout. August 23rd, go to dailydosepod.com/Dosers Live to get tickets to hang out with Dosers in real life here in Los Angeles. Will be so much fun. We'll have a great time and it will be a blast. We will have food, drinks, entertainment, and it will be a good time to spend time amongst your peers who don't believe in extortion, bullying, and lying. That's how I believe it. So let's get into it, you guys. We have a lot to talk about all on today's Monday episode of Daily Dose of Donna. Thanks, everyone, for being here. By the way, I hit 45,000 subscribers on YouTube over the weekend, which was such an exciting thing to do. I can't believe it. I'm almost at 50. I know that sounds like, I'm 5,000 subscribers away from 50, which is crazy, crazy. Each subscriber on YouTube is like a huge deal. YouTube subscribers are hard to come by because they're fickle. You guys come and you go. The other day, someone didn't like the way I said one thing and they were like, "I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I'm done with you. I'm done." Here's the way to get the tickets. By the way, someone said, "Is there a cutoff for purchasing?" The cutoff will be when it sells out. So buy them before it gets too late. And they're not that expensive. Sandra says, "Donna, your arm workout yesterday inspired me. I went back to the gym for the first time in 2 years this morning." Don't make me cry. That's actually going to make me really, really emotional. You know what else made me emotional this morning? I can't even talk about it, you guys. Michelle's not lying. She says every time Donna takes a sip of water, 5 people unsubscribe. She's not lying. People are really, really mad at my hydration. But you know what I keep thinking about is the freak-offs. I keep thinking about those damn freak-offs. And how thirsty those people in those freak-offs could have been. Just thinking about those freak-offs, my mouth gets dry. 4-day freak-offs. The juices. Too much? Diddy is on trial still. I'm a little concerned. Audrey O'Day is no longer going to be testifying. That was like some rumor. And when I was getting my hair done over the weekend, my hairdresser goes, "Oh no, that's a rumor." I said, "No, no, no." She said she's testifying. Well, she's not. And that's a little concerning. What else is concerning is why is Audrey O'Day speaking to, you know where she was? Instead of speaking at the trial where she should be, she was actually on the on that podcast. Hold on, let me get which podcast that she was on. She was on that podcast with, I'm going to tell you in just a second. The ones that got fired, the ABC, Amy Robach and TJ Holmes. She was on their podcast. They got the exclusive with the ex-Danity Kane member talking about that, which is just wild, wild. And I mean, the fact that they're still together and they have a podcast is really surprising. I think that's the biggest groundbreaking thing there. But she says she wasn't subpoenaed or called to testify. She says this trial is bittersweet for me. I've been speaking the truth about Diddy for 20 years now. I think what's concerning, and this is the truth, what's concerning, and speaking of my gym, which I mentioned earlier, another one of our trainers over there, her first cousin is one of the prosecutors for Diddy. Her name is all over the prosecution. Like, you know who she is. I don't want to identify her, but like she's one of the names that's listed. I asked her, I was like, do they have a case? She's like, I don't ask her about the case. Like, we're not talking about the case. I'm concerned. This is what is concerning me. And I'm sure a lot of you that are following this case, like, do we know that Diddy is a horrible man? Absolutely. Do we know that he is a evil, sex craved, nasty, wanted his women, wanted to own his women, wanted to control his women, all those things? Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. But was he guilty of all the crimes that they're saying that he was? I don't know. This is what's concerning me. If Diddy walks, we're screwed. And then what worries me mostly is that a lot of the people that may have actual dirt on him may think that he's going to get out and they're going to be scared to say anything. So they're not going to actually come to testify because they're going to be scared. They're going to be scared that he's going to come out. Yeah. Not come out. I think he did come out. We're pretty convinced that Diddy is probably at least bi, right? Don't you think? My hairdresser is convinced that Diddy's gay. She's like, he's gay. I said, you think? She goes, Donna, I think he's gay. And I was like, I would imagine. I don't want to, out anyone for, I think if anyone deserves it. Now, 50 Cent is winning all the awards online. 50 Cent is doing the Lord's work with his trolling. And if you haven't, checked out 50 Cent's Instagram, he's the reason AI was created, with his videos of him walking men to his bed in prison, drinking the baby oil. It's been amazing. Okay, I'm going to bring in my favorite gay man. My favorite, the originator of the Can You Imagine sprinkler. Okay, the man, the myth, the guy who's going to hit 100,000 YouTube subscribers this week.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Thank God I can. I was worried that I couldn't.
Hi.
Zach, what's
Can
black
you
and white?
imagine it? What?
What's black and white and red all over?
What's black and white? And you don't want me to answer that.
I mean, it's you, literally. You're wearing a black and white shirt.
Black and white, but I'm not red all over.
Somewhere in your heart.
Somewhere in my heart, yes. How are you?
You
I
look
don't hear from you anymore.
Just because I got into Karen Reed.
Yeah. which, by the way, everybody, I would like to say it here, Karen Reed is guilty. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know the case well enough,
Do
but
you
I
want to
mean,
get thrown off this pod?
it sounds like it's a hot mess, and I actually think that she's being framed from what I do know because of the Google searches and the dog and the
Evidence, the science.
the police officers, yes, and the stripper.
There's a stripper.
I'm assuming one of the cops has to be a stripper, right? Or are they all real cops? This is another. Oh my God, wait. Somebody said Oppenheimer. I was telling people, because remember how Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were trying to make It Ends With Us and Deadpool and Wolverine, the new Barbenheimer with Barbie and Oppenheimer. And I was
Okay.
like, well, the difference is I go Barbie and Oppenheimer, they're both like fantasy movies. They're both escapism. They're both like not based in reality. And everybody's like, do you not know who Oppenheimer is? And then I realized Oppenheimer is a real person and it's like based on a
Isn't
real.
he like a bomb, like a Unabomber type guy?
Well, I don't know if he's a unit. He's the physicist that was doing
He created.
the atomic bomb. I don't know,
You and I
something.
are real smart.
It was something, and everybody was like, "Do you not know what Oppenheimer is about?" I was like, "Obviously, I don't know what Oppenheimer, the atomic bomb." Yes, that's what I was thinking, Beth. Thank you.
Atomic bomb. I said Unabomber. It's close enough.
Sure.
Wait, Zach.
Yeah.
We haven't talked as much in the last week.
Yeah.
But it's not that we don't talk anymore. You've also been so busy because you've had so many other women in your life with the mom talkers.
I know all the mom. Did you watch Secret Lives? It's really good.
I'm on episode, I think 6. It finally got a little interesting. The first few episodes, I was like, I want to pull out all my hair. I want to mom
Are
talk
you
my way
watching
out of
season
this.
1 or season 2?
2.
Episode 2 and 3 were great with the Halloween party and the cops coming
I'm
and the
telling
Chippendales.
you, Zach, I have never felt so old watching this show.
Okay, you're like Kate Casey. She texted me the other day, and she's like, "This show is so boring." She's like, "They feel like teenagers." I was
It's
like,
true.
this was what like Vanderpump Rules and all those shows.
Yeah.
You love Summer House. They're like that's Peter Pan. They never grow
No,
up on Summer House.
no.
That's 10 times. They get drunk, and they're like frat boys that are still stuck.
Can I talk now? 10 years ago was when now like 12 years ago is when Vanderpump Rules started. So I was 33, very different time in my life. And when Summer House started also was many years ago. And there's cast members on Summer House that were well into their 30s when the show started. It's a very different vibe. Sorry, those mom talkers, some of them are like Jen Affleck is 25, but she truly looks 13.
Yeah.
She has a very, very small immaturity to her. Some of them are and 2 of them I truly thought were the same person until episode 4. Jesse and Demi. Honestly, I was shocked when I realized there were 2 people.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny. I was like,
No.
wait, they aren't the same?
No, I hear you. I get it. I'm with you. They look exactly like the same person, and then they're best friends, which doesn't make it any
But then now
easier
I'm
to
seeing
tell
all
them
these like
apart.
spoilers that they're no longer friends.
No, because they were sleeping with the Vanderpump Rules dude, and it's a whole thing.
Aren't they married?
Yeah, but they're also, I guess, maybe swingers. Is my understanding is maybe somebody has an open situation.
So in mom talk, it's okay to cheat.
Well, it's not cheating because you have an open marriage.
So our mom,
technically not
okay.
cheating.
So it's like it's just welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, there's a lot of hair.
So many extensions, so many. Not
Perfect
all of them are all
hair.
great. Some of that, like Layla's hair, was rough. I don't know if you got into that episode where they show the back of her head and you just see all the extensions.
It's a lot, yeah. It's not a lot of body and a lot of hair.
Yeah,
They all look
the
like
season is good, though.
cousin it, like pretty cousin its.
The season is good though. It's much better than season 1. I will say that.
All right. Well, we have to get into so everyone, you guys. I will say before we get into Blake and Lively, before we get into Blake and Ryan, I want you guys to all make sure right now, immediately, that you are subscribed to Zach Peter because we need him to get to 100K before end of week. Okay, this is essential. All right.
And
If
we're going
Blake
on tour
Lively can
together.
keep filing motions to ruin people's lives, Zach Peter needs to get to 100K.
Yes.
Or he's going to turn into a flower.
A lotus flower.
Just any flower that Blake Lively chooses.
Every day she's wearing more and more florals, and I didn't think she could become more insufferable, but she never fails to amaze me.
I mean, no wonder my seasonal allergies are so bad in 2025.
I just don't get who has that many florals.
She's run the market on florals. Like every company in the floral market should be concerned because we're all getting so I will never buy a floral again. I'm concerned that you're even wearing maybe a floral pattern right now.
Nope. Just scribbles.
Yeah, anything. I'm throwing out all my florals. I'm going through my closet and I'm just going to rip them all out.
Your
I'm
whole
turned off by
background is
florals. If I
floral.
had a floral, what?
It's all florals behind you, no?
They're leaves.
Close enough.
If
Can
I'm
you
going to take,
imagine it?
I'm going to take all my if I had a floral tattoo, I would get that shit lasered.
Oh.
So
Do you have tattoos?
What'd you say?
Do you have a tattoo?
Not yet, but when I do, it's going to say, I love Zach Peter.
Perfect.
So let's get into the story. Before I do have some amazing sponsors. So you're just going to sit there and you're going to you're just going to smile along because you love the products that sponsor me.
I love them.
Okay, I actually have a new sponsor this week that I'm so excited about because I've been using it all week to cook. You guys know that I love. What?
I said Go Blue Chew. Is that not your sponsor?
Don't talk about other products.
Trojan Man. No, not that one either.
Do I need to throw you into my green room for this one? So as you guys know, I am a huge chef in my kitchen. I'm like Bethany. You know, Bethany was a chef. So as you guys know, I love to cook. And this episode of Daily Dose of Donna is brought to you by Graza. Graza, my new favorite olive oil. It's fresh, it's never blended, and it comes from a single type of olive, the Picual, straight out of Jaén, Spain. Do you like how I said that? Jaén, where over half the world's olive oil is produced. And actually, you can find this at different stores, but I have a great deal for you, and I'm obsessed with the bottles, and I actually use this in my kitchen. Graza has single origin goodness, only one olive from one region, no mysterious blends. That means a traceable, fresher product without mixing in any lower grade or unknown oils. And they come in super fun squeeze and spray bottles like this. No more messy tins or drippy sprouts. Just aim, squeeze, boop, boop, and go. Don't feel like I'm doing any sort of sexual harassment, okay? No intimacy coordinator necessary. 3 types for any task. There's frizzle with a higher 490-degree smoke point because, you know, they say you should only cook with olive oil if it's good for high heat. So it's perfect for frying, crisping, or grilling. There's sizzle at 410 degrees or drizzle, a bold, punchy finishing oil you can sprinkle on salads, dip bread in, or even top off ice cream. So you guys can get 10% off your first order on Graza's site, but I personally suggest grabbing the trio. That's all 3 squeezy bottles, sizzle, frizzle, and drizzle. So you're set for every style of cooking. Head to graza.co and use code DailyDose to get 10% off Trio, which includes sizzle, frizzle, and drizzle. I love saying it. I feel so cute. I'm like in a band. And get to cooking your next chef quality meal. Take your food to the next level with Graza olive oil. Go to graza.co/dailydose and use promo code DailyDose today for 10% off Trio. Now that we're all oiled up, let's get into the story. Okay, did you make facial expressions the whole time I was doing it?
No. I was doing I was milking the cow and we were doing drizzle, drizzle, drizzle.
Were you sprinkles?
Oh, no, I didn't do sprinkles.
Okay. So when I first saw this article this morning, or this news flash this morning, Blake Lively filed multiple motions to sanction many members of the Wayfarer team. What was the first thing you said?
Oh, at first I thought it was in relation to Brian Friedman outing the Taylor Swift extortion claims.
But what was the first reason that you said she's doing all of this?
Oh, because she very clearly wants to get these claims shut down.
You said one word to describe her. I'm trying to get you to say the word that you said she is.
Yummy.
What did you say?
I don't remember what things come out of my mouth all the time, Donna. I don't remember them.
You said
Drizzle.
she is desperate.
Desperate. Oh yeah, she's getting very desperate because at this point, I mean, this is kind of like a motion to dismiss on crack. Like she's trying to throw everything against the wall to get these claims shut down. And so now she's threatening them to withdraw their claims. Otherwise, she's going to make sure that there are sanctions filed against them.
So let's go through and kind of without going through the legal filings because that's just so boring and
And it's
difficult
very
to do.
long. Yeah.
And like who I can't sit through that. But if you wanted to, or if we wanted to kind of just like on a high level zoomed out approach, and luckily we have people like Leanne on Twitter who kind of, and I can pull up her tweet where she kind of just like from a zoomed out perspective explains what this means. What does that mean to file a motion to sanction?
Penalties. She wants them to get in trouble. She wants them to pay up. She said, "You're doing what you're doing is improper." You know, kind of like filing a sham Van Zandt lawsuit to get text messages to 10 Jane and John Does to get their text messages to drop the lawsuit to file a CRD complaint in California and then leak it to the New York Times. Kind of like that.
Well, it's weird because it always seems like she blames, when I say she, it's her and her attorneys and Ryan Reynolds tend to blame others for everything that they do. It's like the projection game is strong with the Lively Reynolds team.
Yeah, no kidding. But so yeah, she's now claiming that their claims against her are improper.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
Leanne
here we
expanded on
are.
it. Okay.
Here we are with Leanne's kind of take on it. She says Blake Lively files for sanctions. Oh, and before we get into that, I want to just really quickly remind you guys that the first time we saw sanctions was when Brian Friedman introduced this whole Taylor Swift issue and sent it on to Friedman's docket. I'm sorry, Lyman's docket last week. And Lyman kind of slapped his wrist and said, he basically said the next time this happens, you're going to get sanctioned, right?
And then Blake was like, "Ooh, that's a good idea. Thanks, Judge."
That's kind of what I feel is happening here. I feel like Blake Lively and her team were like, ooh, they're already kind of in trouble with the judge. Let's go full force on this. Let's use even that word. Not that that's like the word that they've never used, but like, let's go all in. The judge is already maybe unhappy with that side. Let's just like get them. Don't you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
Or am I like maybe reaching?
No,
with
I
that?
mean, at this point, they're trying to do everything that they possibly can. So before we break down Leanne's thing, I have my theory, which I presented to you, and that was that she's trying to get all the other are they plaintiffs or defend? Well, I guess they're both suing each other.
They're
But so
both.
she's trying to get all the Wayfarer parties minus Justin Baldoni to drop these claims or to get her dismissed from these claims. And so my thought is maybe her team sees the writing on the wall and they know that she's likely going to lose this case against Baldoni. So why not try to minimize the damage that she's going to have to pay out in the end? And if you get rid of all the other Wayfarer parties, that's a lot less attorney's fees that you're going to have to pay out. And then it's less likely for him to then prove the full 400 million in damages if he no longer has, Sarowitz and Heath and Abel and Melissa Nathan, because collectively they're all suing for 400 million. But if you get rid of 4 or 5 of the other parties, then I'm imagining that's going to significantly reduce the damages that Blake will have to pay out. So I think that her team is starting to see the writing on the wall. And that's why at this point, they're just trying to throw everything that they can. But this last ditch effort of threatening sanctions and threatening them to drop their claims against her is kind of silly, because if you read through, and I kind of just glossed through it, I didn't read page by page. But if you read through it, it does kind of look like she doesn't have she's debating matters of fact, which, if anything, we've learned over the last several months, matters of fact are determined by the jury. So I don't understand what her intentions here are, aside from being like, you better watch out, drop your claims or else. And it's
Yeah,
like, well, or
let's
else
go
what?
over what Leanne said here.
Yeah.
She goes, Blake Lively files for sanctions. This is not new or related to last week's motion to strike. So this has nothing to do with
Right.
Brian Friedman and Taylor Swift's thing last week. She says the letters in this filing are between the lawyers are dated 23rd of April. The vast majority of the filings are okay, whatever. 12 filings have come down. So I've looked and decided that rather than doing them individually, I'm going to sum up the gist. In a nutshell, Lively is complaining about the fact that the pleading is a group one. So she doesn't like that they're coming at her from a group rather than individually. So she doesn't like, even though she went after them as a group, by the way. Didn't she? She,
No, it's just
what?
Blake Lively.
No, she went after all of them together.
Oh, yes, she's suing them all collectively, yes.
Yeah. So they're suing her all back collectively.
Yes.
So rules for thee, not for me.
Yeah.
I can sue one big group, but one big group can't sue me.
Correct.
That's weird, I think. Okay. She's saying that Jen Abel, and Melissa Nathan are claiming tortious interference for a contract that Baldoni had with WME and was non existent to them. Okay, let's break down that sentence. Let's figure out what that means. Abel and,
Damages.
sorry.
It's damages because her argument overall is that the claims against her are specific to Baldoni and the damages are specific to Baldoni. So all these other people are irrelevant to this lawsuit is the point that she's trying to argue. So when it comes to WME specifically, Justin Baldoni is the one that lost his agent at WME. Jennifer Abel didn't lose her agent. Melissa Nathan didn't lose her agent. Steve Sorowitz didn't lose his agent. So that's kind of the argument that she's trying to make is the damages that they're presenting are for Baldoni, not for all these other people.
Got it. Got it.
Which,
So
I
they're
mean,
basically saying that even though he lost his agency contract, they should not be part of that claim because they didn't lose any contract.
correct.
Ah.
They didn't suffer the same damages that Baldoni suffered. That's why,
Ah.
but so, and that's kind of the issue. And this is a little bit of my concern. I'm curious how Leanne feels about it overall, because my concern is they're all suing her for this long list of reasons, right? Defamation being one of them, but also like contract interference. And so her argument is what contract did I interfere with Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan if the contract that they're arguing that they lost was like the WME contracts, but WME was only representing Justin Baldoni. So she's making points. I know Friedman has addressed this in the past. I don't remember how he addressed it.
But
Yeah,
you can also argue that Jen Abel, just because she didn't lose the contract with WME, her name has been slandered and pulled through the
yeah,
mud because of this, as well as Melissa Nathan. And just because they didn't specifically lose their contract with WME, being Justin Baldoni's publicist means that they get hired based on Justin Baldoni's work. And if
yeah.
he's losing projects, they have less reason to be hired by him, correct? And so it's like a trickle down.
Yeah, I mean, and also you could argue that Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel are, their livelihoods are dependent on Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer, and Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer are the ones that lost the WME contract, so it trickles down.
Yeah.
So yeah, notably, the sanctions are not towards Wayfarer or towards Justin Baldoni. These are all sanctions for Jennifer Abel, Melissa Nathan, Steve Sarowitz, Jamie Heath, and it ends with us LLC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
All
so
right.
continue.
All right. So then it says they're also saying the parties, all except Justin Baldoni, have sanctions requested against them. All
Mhm.
except Baldoni have sanctions requested against them, are claiming defamation for Ryan Reynolds allegedly calling Baldoni a sexual predator. So
Yeah,
she's saying that everyone is claiming defamation, even though it's really just Baldoni that should claim defamation. Like
correct.
Jamie Heath shouldn't have an issue with Reynolds calling him a sexual predator. Melissa Nation shouldn't have an issue. Really, the only person that affects is Baldoni.
Yeah.
Again, that's kind of up to interpretation. If they're all related to Justin Baldoni, it affects every single one of their businesses.
Yeah, so this is the hard part, and this is what Blake is trying to argue, is they're trying to argue specifics about what exactly was said. What did Ryan Reynolds say? And that's where Friedman hones in on, well, he called or Ryan Reynolds called Justin Baldoni a predator. Whereas, there isn't a specific statement. I guess you could say the smear campaign, which is what they were arguing initially, is they orchestrated this smear campaign collectively. But Blake Lively's already made the argument that they didn't call it a smear campaign. The New York Times called it a smear campaign. And the New York Times was saying, well, we called it a smear campaign, but that was our opinion. So everybody's trying to, everyone's using all of these technicalities and semantics to try and prove their arguments. And so technically, Wayfarer or the Wayfarer parties have not presented a specific quote that was said that was defamatory towards Heath, Sarowitz, Abel, and Nathan. So that's where Blake Lively's trying to find whichever, legal caveat she can squeeze her way through.
It's just interesting because you have to recognize that maybe, yes, technically the word defaming a person doesn't affect, if he only said that, and from what I can remember, Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss never denied him actually using those words. He actually kind of admitted it in a roundabout way. He didn't deny it in any way. Remember, he was like, it's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So he probably did say it. But if I'm a business partner, if I'm co-producing a show or a project, or I work with someone who's being called a sexual predator and because of that loses out on 15 different things, loses his agency and gets completely ruined in the industry, I'm affected. So you're defaming someone, but that definitely does defame me as well. So you can argue it both ways. Yes, you're not defaming Jen Abel by calling Justin Baldoni a predator, but you're ruining her career because she represents him. You're ruining Jamie Heath because that's his business partner. You're taking down Wayfarer by calling the CEO or the co-founder.
Arguably, you could say, well, Jennifer Abel doesn't have to work for him. She's choosing to work with him knowing that he's a predator.
I mean, I guess it's up to arguments.
Yeah, but again,
that comes down to court. Like this needs to go down to court.
Exactly. A lot of these things are matters of fact that should be determined by a jury,
exactly,
not by Blake Lively and her threats.
This is an absolute, like, this would be wild if the judge let this go.
He might. I don't know.
Okay,
I'm not confident that. Yeah, keep reading.
Basically, what is happening, Leanne continues. Basically, what is happening is Lively is trying to get out of this lawsuit against her and recycling her arguments in her motion to dismiss, which she already, that was already quashed, correct? Yes.
No.
Oh, it wasn't yet?
No.
When is that motion to dismiss supposed to be ruled on?
I don't know. We're still waiting on Blake, Ryan, Leslie, and the New York Times. None of their motions to dismiss have been heard yet.
And they're supposed to be. Are you okay?
It's Blake.
There's someone that coughs in the Karen Reed trial, and they say that that's like messaging. Like you're messaging something to me right now.
Illuminati.
So it says that she's recycling her arguments in her motion to dismiss to attempt to get sanctions. This is not something that's permissible under Rule 11. I don't know what Rule 11 is.
I don't know what Rule 11 is.
Okay. The main problem Lively appears to have is the fact that Wayfarer's complaint against her is a group pleading.
Yeah.
I am confident that the judge was going to ask Wayfarer to correct this in a second amended complaint as an outcome of the motions to dismiss. So basically what Leanne is saying is that from the motions to dismiss, it's possible that the judge was going to say, we're not going to let you dismiss the case. We're not going to dismiss the case, but we are going to have the case amended in some capacity, correct?
Yep. That's what everybody's predicting is going to happen. The motions to dismiss will be denied, and the judge will give the Wayfarer parties an opportunity to amend.
Yeah. The quotes that Lively is complaining that Friedman has made are not part of any pleading and are therefore outside of Rule 11. And then Leanne says, I am optimistic. I can't guarantee how the judge will decide, but I feel like Lively falls flat with this motion. She appears to be attempting to use the motion for sanctions to give a false impression about the merits of her claims.
Yeah.
So from an attorney who's been covering this case, although quite pro Justin, she's pro Baldoni, I would say Leanne is.
Yeah.
She is clearly confident that this will go in a good, positive way.
Yeah, it's likely she's not. I mean, it's very similar. And I think Leanne made a really good point of saying that it's really just her trying her same argument with her motion to dismiss by basically saying, and somebody clarified in the live chat. And yes, Rule 11 is about you can't bring forward frivolous claims or baseless claims in a lawsuit. And so that's kind of what she's trying to argue, is that these claims are all frivolous, that these aren't real claims. Like
Got
they're
it.
just, they have nothing on her. But it's like, okay, well, if they have nothing on you, then you sued them, they're suing you. Let's move forward. Let's get to trial. Let's have the jury decide. But she's fighting it tooth and nail every step of the way.
Got it. Now, she did go after Brian Friedman a little bit in the letter. She said that she does accuse, or her attorneys do accuse Brian Friedman of filing baseless claims to gain publicity,
Yeah.
using TMZ and People to smear her, calling for Blake's testimony to be live streamed from Madison Square Garden, suggesting she should answer harassment questions in front of a crowd, and they threw in some old quotes. So they definitely did go after Friedman, but not about the Taylor Swift of it
Correct.
all.
Which I think is going to come next. I think that's going to be their next play.
Yep.
Because like you said, this was this was a card that they pulled in April with these sanctions threats. And yeah, I think the Taylor Swift thing will come back around.
And so now they have 14 days for it to come back.
Yeah. I don't think the judge, I mean, I'm hopeful like Leanne, but I mean, you never know. I never like to be too optimistic
Well,
in these things, because you really never know. I mean, and even the judge, we were hoping would allow Friedman to keep the Taylor Swift things now that he filed that, in his affidavit. But obviously the judge struck that. He honored Blake Lively's motion to strike, which was the right thing to do, because there was a jurisdiction issue, and that's a matter that should be held in DC and not in front of Judge Lyman, but we'll see.
it does feel a little bit like we have a as of last week, I was pretty confident that everything was going to be like fair. Last week felt a little bit like, I mean, even though it was a jurisdiction issue with Brian Friedman and that letter, it did make me feel a little concerned how fast it was struck from the docket, whereas everything else feels like it's taking forever.
Yeah.
It was a little concerning. So, look, we're
That's
not a
why it's like you never know how this is going to go. Like, I'm pretty confident that her motion to dismiss is not going to be pushed forward, that the judge is going to dismiss that, because it's very rare that somebody gets their motion to dismiss honored. And it usually does take a lot of time. Like, I don't even think we've heard about Ariana and Tom's motions to dismiss in Raquel's lawsuit against them. So it does take time.
It does take time, and everyone's eyes are on this. Like, we get
I mean,
notifications immediately when something drops on the docket. We get notice of everything. I just think that, we don't have any idea how this is going to go. We really don't. And we can only hope for the best. At the end of the day, the judge is going to make his call and his ruling depending. What worries me is, like, I just don't know how much he likes Brian Friedman right now.
yeah, Brian Friedman, I mean, he took a gamble with his move last week. It was a risk, and I think Brian Friedman knew that it was a risk, but I think the important thing is, because Brian Friedman brought up the Taylor Swift piece and brought up the alleged extortion, and it did become such a big headline and it became such a media circus, that now Blake Lively won't be able to hide behind her attorney's eyes only protection that she was granted at the beginning of this case. Remember, where she was able to protect third party privacy. So I think Friedman may have done this in an attempt to make sure that she doesn't protect that, because you do have third party protections. And so I think that's why she was trying to protect Taylor Swift's attorney's law firm from being dragged in with the subpoena. But now that it's kind of been outed, and now that it's been reported on publicly, now it is a matter of public interest, that there's nothing that would need that attorney's eyes only protection, should Blake try to flex that to conceal that she had threatened Taylor Swift and encouraged her to delete text messages.
And speaking of silence, absolute silence from Taylor Swift's camp over the weekend. As predicted, Taylor Swift and Blake Lively are no longer friends, and they will no longer be friends, and they are never, ever getting back together. And, you even sent me a text on Saturday morning, whether it was Saturday or yesterday morning, saying, this is actually sad. It's actually sad how like final this friendship is after 10 years and godparents and all this for this. Like how far Blake Lively was willing to take this. And it inspired my post yesterday on Instagram where I was just like thinking about it. Because when you're a woman and you're a mom and you don't know those feelings, Zach, you don't know misogyny, right? But when you're a woman, you don't like women, right?
No,
You hate women.
all of them.
Okay. When you're a woman and you're a mom and you have children and you raise them to, you know, meet other of your friends and like warm up to your friends. And these are young girls that got to go to Taylor Swift concerts and be like, that's your godmom at the Eras concert just a few months ago. Okay. Do you know how cool that was for little James and Inez? I don't know how old they are, but I can only imagine they were like freaking out. That's my godmom, Taylor Swift. And now, just a few hours later, a few years later, she's going to, your months later, they're going to be like, we don't know Taylor. Like, stop mentioning Taylor Swift. No Taylor Swift is allowed to be played in our house. We don't go to Taylor Swift concerts. Like, she was willing to literally ruin her kids' relationship with that and cut that off for this.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you really start to recognize how evil
Yeah,
that
I mean,
is.
it was 10 years of a friendship, and, and the kids were I'm sure were very close to and fond with
They were
Taylor
old enough
Swift.
to go to the concerts and like remember this time in their life, I think.
Yeah. That it's crazy just to see that history and then to know that Blake just blew all of this. I mean, but when I was texting you the other day, but I was like, it's sad to see how much has blown up. Like Justin Baldoni's entire life has blown up. Jennifer Abel, like all of these people based off of these allegations that have yet to be proven has just completely their whole world has completely crumbled before our eyes. And then you have Taylor Swift who's getting dragged into this, and we're gonna have Hugh Jackman and Bradley Cooper. I mean, and I have less empathy for them because obviously they're very well off and they'll probably be fine in the end. But like, it's just to see how far this entire mess is getting and how many people are being affected by it is crazy. And the fact that she's just rather than I mean, Isabella Ferrer, look at her. Like her career is essentially stalled right now, and It Ends With Us was supposed to be her first big break,
It
you know.
ended with that.
And as of right now, she can't take. I mean, look at Brandon Sklenar. I know a lot of people dislike him right now, but even him, he can't go on to another film project or Jenny Slate without being asked about this. And then everything that they say gets picked apart and scrutinized. And obviously, they picked the wrong team here, but like, it just, they can't get away from it. Nobody that was attached to that movie can get away from it until this is all done. And Blake Lively is the one that, turned everything upside down. And she's just waltzing around visiting Anna Wintour, and she's, doing everything she can to just act like everything's cool, calm, and kosher. She just launched her new hair mist. Did you
Well,
see that? She
so
has a new hair mist.
yeah. So meanwhile, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds over the weekend. What wild, wild developments over the weekend. And I know you talked about this briefly on your show this morning. And if you've got to bounce, let me know. But Blake Lively and
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds hold hands. So Saturday, they both acted wild on their Instagram stories. We'll get into that in a minute. But yesterday, this is so weird. So Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are photographed in the strangest paparazzi induced. By the way, they call the paparazzi for this because this is not on a main street. This is a side street right in front of Anna Wintour's house. How do I know this? Because they went to Anna Wintour's house because one of the, am I saying it right? Is it Winter or Wintour?
Wintour.
Okay. Anna Wintour is the CEO, the head editor in chief or whatever of Vogue. She's the, I got a lot of DMs actually when I posted about it. People were like, who's Anna Wintour? I'm like, what?
How do people not know Anna Wintour? Oh, look at it's a dog.
I know. What is this ad? Unless it's Ollie, which is another sponsor of my podcast. We don't want to talk about it. Okay. So Anna Wintour is like Devil Wears Prada, like short hair, glasses, Vogue. So they did not go to the Met Gala, which was last week. I think it was the beginning of last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't know. They did not go. Everyone said that they were uninvited. I believe that they were because there's no way Blake Lively would have missed the Met Gala.
No,
She doesn't miss the opening of an envelope.
But, like, especially this year, she's gone to every single red carpet. As much as we're just like, "Why?" She continues to go everywhere she can to be photographed and seem so unbothered as she's literally destroying so many people's lives. Like, what's
Yep. Yep. So, I get a DM from from someone who follows me, and she sends me this last night. She said this is real time. She has an ex who lives on this street, okay? And he messages her and he's like, "Do you recognize them?" And it's a picture, and I posted it on my Instagram stories. Um, gosh. I guess I could show you my stories because in that one I blocked it out. I want to make sure that I'm not showing you personal details.
I also
Um,
tweeted it.
what?
I said I also tweeted it.
You did tweet it. So let me just jump over to my stories though, and I'll just pause it. Um,
Uh,
here we go.
did you see Blake has a new hair mist?
Oh my god, I don't want to talk about it, but we'll talk about it. Okay. Do you guys see this? Okay, so it's a picture of
Boost
Blake.
story.
Okay. So it's a picture of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds in front of this townhouse. And this text that you're getting is from this person to my audience member who sent it me. And it says, LOL, can you make out who that is? I want to ask them about the trial. So the person that responded said, whose place is that? Are they? And she responds, whose place is that? Are they at? And it's at this person's house who is a friend of theirs. And the person who responds says, yes, they were knocking on his door. They realized they had the wrong address and then they went to Anna's. So they went to Anna Wintour's house, but they went to the wrong house.
Which
Okay.
tells you they don't really hang out with Anna Wintour all that often.
Mm-hmm. And so she says to the person who sent him the text message, also, that's weird that they didn't know her actual address. Did they look it up on Google? Because it does say that this person's house is Anna's actual address on Google, I guess. And then he says, uh, they are still there. Should I make a sign and hold it on the window that says Blake sucks? And she's like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And the person says, "The driver is parked in front of my stoop." And then she says, "Yes, it's a perfect place for a Blake sucks sign." Wouldn't that be funny if they went outside to their driver and then they put a Blake sucks sign? So you have to understand, they're not doing a long walk. They have a driver. A driver parks them right outside. They get out of the car. Let's go back to the page 6. They get out of the car and walk 5 feet to a stoop, and paparazzi are standing there. This is
Just
not like
happened
a
to be,
long
yeah.
walk where paparazzi like, "Oh, by the way, on 8th Street," or whatever street it is, I have no idea. "Blake and Ryan are walking." It's a 2-second walk. They call paparazzi for this shit.
They're holding hands on a romantic NYC stroll. Literally
Bullshit
10
romantic.
feet. A stroll from their car to Anna Wintour's gate.
I can't stand it. So, what bothers me the most about this is that this was like a very, very, very stressful week for Blake Lively. I would almost, in my opinion, I would say this is probably maybe the worst week for Blake Lively in months of this,
Yeah.
because to find out that now the Swifties are against her and the Swifties are against her. If you are a Swiftie, you're going to have to pick Taylor over Blake right now.
Well, obviously they're not going to pick Blake. Who is picking Blake right now? Like, where are all the Blake, what is it, that Patriot dude and the MJ person? Like, what
I
are
just want
they
to say
all
Michael
saying?
Jackson, but I know who you're talking about. Yes.
What are they all saying right now? Like, I
Oh,
don't understand how
they think
anybody
it's a
can be.
lie.
Oh, that Friedman's just lying.
Yes.
Okay.
They think it's a lie. They think it's an absolute lie because Michael Gottlieb said this conversation as described never happened because he said as described. You
As
talked about using
described. Yeah.
semantics.
Yeah. Again, semantics, legal loopholes, like they're trying technicalities, all of that is what they're trying to squeeze their way.
Well, my
Well,
hair as viewed is not really this color.
Well, I think my theory is that they didn't directly, like, gun to head say Taylor released a statement of support. I think it was more of like, listen, it's in Taylor's best interest to issue a statement of support because if she doesn't stand by us, her text messages are going to get out there. And that's 10 years of messages. And we can't control it once they get out. And they're very likely going to leak. We can't control the other team. It's likely going to get out. So we suggest you work with us rather than work against us. I think it
What
was more of a veiled threat like that, the way that he presented it. But that's why it's so important for Brian Friedman to get the discovery because Taylor Swift's attorney allegedly put in an email that they felt that they were extorted. And so that's why Friedman wants to subpoena the emails and phone records from what is it, Venable?
Venable. So what do you think recently a video was leaked of Taylor Swift from 2016 of her singing at a 4th of July party. Did you see that video of her singing Whitney Houston?
No,
You didn't see this?
no.
So on TikTok, a video got released, and it's not a bad video actually. It's actually kind of a cute video. I'll pull it up. It's from this girl Harley Gooseman, and she is the first thing I see when I pull up TikTok is you, by the way. So stop being all over my feed, Zach Peter.
Love.
So she doesn't have a lot of followers, and her claim to fame is actually just she used to date Ruby Rose. And let me see if I can find it. Gosh, now I don't even know where I'm going to be able to find it. I feel like it's going to be hard for me to find here. She has random like renovation videos. But she basically she released a video out of nowhere that she said she found on her dad's phone. Okay? And it came out of nowhere. And she said, and it was a video of Taylor Swift singing. Let me try to find it. Harley and Taylor Swift. Hold on. Singing "I Will Always Love You" in like karaoke. Okay.
And
Not gonna be this is not gonna be the full video, but this is like just a little piece of it. And people are saying that Blake Lively is like slowly leaking these old things and these old videos because the timing is weird. It's from 6 days ago. It's a 2016 video. So I don't really know if you guys, oh, not this. It would just be weird if all of a sudden Blake Lively is with flowers. Okay, do you see this? Do you see the video?
yes.
Okay, here. Okay, and the video goes on a little bit longer. It's actually not bad. I actually think it's kind of cute. It makes Taylor look fun. She's a little drunk. Everyone's having fun. But it was around this time when Taylor was hanging out with Blake Lively, this girl, Ruby Rose. There was a few other girls that were there. So people are starting to say, like, is Blake Lively slowly just like going to be leaking these things? Like there was also that article in Daily Mail this last week or 2 weeks ago about like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's like love life and sex life, how they like spend a lot of time when they're just like at home together, like having sex. Did you see that video and that article on Daily Mail? So people are starting to think like, is something happening there? Is Blake Lively leaving these Easter eggs? For example, her Spice Girls little
Yeah.
Easter egg over the weekend where she was using her watch and she talked about the fact that she's a hoarder and that she keeps all the things from her past. And she knows wearing a watch. Taylor Swift's all about the clock with her Midnight album, and everything she does has a reference to the midnight and the clock and the time.
Yep. Time.
And I'm not that big of a Swiftie to know all of the references, but Swifties get it. And by the way, her watch was set to after midnight when it was getting ready to go to a 90s show, a 90s party, which by the way, I don't think she was going to a 90s party. I think she got dressed up for that picture. Am I wild to think that?
No, I mean, listen, I wouldn't put anything past her. She's crazy. Like, if anything, we've learned so many things about this woman that are just baffling, the lengths that she will go to.
I really wanted to find butterfly clips and come to this Daily Dose dressed like a 90s girl for Blake.
90s grunge, yeah.
Yeah, like I wanted to wear little butterfly clips. That's what I did for my prom. But she's not like, I think Ryan Reynolds and her like sit at home. I think he's also wearing Taylor Swift friendship bracelets still.
Didn't he
In that
wear that on
picture,
a talk show or something? Yeah.
look at his bracelets in this picture, in the page 6 picture. I'm
Um,
not joking. Look at it. I don't know if I can zoom on this. He's wearing, can you see this?
is he?
He's wearing
Zoom in.
little like friendship bracelets.
He's wearing a watch? Oh,
Like those are friendship bracelets. What's in this hand?
of his phone,
But what's under the phone?
glasses.
Is that a vape? It ends with vapes?
It ends with vapes.
Is he wearing florals?
No.
Oh my God. So
Did you see Blake Lively's latest? She just filed something else.
what now?
She wants Wayfarer to turn over. You know how in January they opened up an investigation into her harassment claims? She's asking them to turn over those findings.
In January, they looked into her harassment claims?
No. In January, Wayfarer, because they claimed they'd never heard of any harassment claims from Blake Lively, so that's why they never did an investigation. So then in January, they opened up an investigation to investigate any harassment that happened on the set of It Ends With Us. So Blake Lively is now saying she wants them to turn over all of the things that they've, like all of the witnessed recordings, she wants them to give that to her, which to me, I would assume is because she needs evidence to help her case. And so she wants them to turn all of that over so that she can use that to help her case.
Is this normal for this part? Isn't this just discovery?
Yes. One, yes, it is discovery. But two, the investigation hasn't been concluded yet. They haven't, to my understanding, that harassment investigation has not been completed. Or if it was completed, for whatever reason, Wayfair hasn't disclosed what the findings of that investigation were. But Blake wants them to turn over, which I don't think is standard, right? If you have a harassment investigation, the company doesn't disclose what's been found, like all of the discovery that comes up in those investigations. They just have the conclusion, and the conclusion is whatever conclusion they came to after doing research or after looking into the claims. Does that make sense? Am I
Yeah,
making
it
sense?
doesn't feel, it feels backwards. Like the timing of it feels weird to get into. I
She's
guess I'm a
trying to
little confused on why she's doing this with emotions.
she's
With
she's trying to make it seem like the Wayfair parties are being uncooperative.
what?
But
Are
if the
they?
investigation hasn't been finished, then why would she be trying to get them to turn over which also I don't think they're required to turn over that information. The company isn't required to give the person who's claiming harassment the findings of their investigation,
No,
right?
that would come there isn't, it's their own party's investigation.
Yeah, it's their own company's investigation.
They hire their own third party.
Yes, and so the third party is investigating any harassment claims from the set of It Ends With Us, but I don't think they're then required to give Blake all of what they find.
No, this feels like something you bring up in defense. Just
So
like I'm watching Karen Reed, this is something that the defense would bring up as like their own expert, their witness expert.
yes. I mean,
In
they would then
testimony, you would bring this
yeah.
up.
Yeah, this is how the Wayfair parties would then defend themselves by being like, "Listen, we did a third-party investigation. These were the findings of our investigation. It's not,
Via has a great point here.
what's the point?"
Why can't I click? She's trying to kill the Taylor issue. She's trying to
Oh, yeah.
deflect. She's trying to push it down with all these
So many
other
other
news
things, yeah,
articles.
That's smart.
That's
Because then
exact.
listen, now
She's
we're
the queen of
talking about
SEO.
because now we're talking about everything except the Taylor issue.
Taylor, 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 Taylor. All I want to talk about is Taylor. Let's not, you guys stay focused.
Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important here. Blake Lively extorts her best friends.
That's crazy. Like, that's truly insane. It's insane.
Now we got to get Taylor like to do something to come back and remind the world.
You didn't put Taylor Swift's name in the title of this video.
We're going to edit it right now. What should I do? Blake Lively is doubling down, but don't forget Taylor. Blake Lively is doubling down, but we're not forgetting that she's a horrible person.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then the hair mist. Let's talk about her new brand. This would be the time, right? To start a new. I was looking to see if my kids still had building blocks so I could show you what her brand looks like. Because in the middle
Oh,
of
yeah.
this nightmare, of it ends with us in this legal drama, she's acting like nothing's bothering me, right? Like, because she operates with PR like from 1992, right? When
Truly.
everything's fine. She has a new brand. Did you guys see her new Instagram? I'm going to show you her new
Well, no, it's the
Instagram post.
same brand, but a new product.
But her new post that she posted about it.
Yeah, is the hair mist.
I'm going to buy it. No, I'm not. I don't want to buy it. But I almost want to buy it so
I
that I
kind of
can
want to
be
go
like,
to Target and check it out. I mean, well, I got the Betty Booze. Remember, I tried that.
that's embarrassing for you.
Why is that
Why did
embarrassing?
you do that?
So that I can try it, and it was a great piece of content, and people loved it. I made the money back in ad rev.
Should I buy it?
The hair mist, you can buy it at Target.
Like right now? Okay, let's look at it together. Oh my God, I'm already annoyed.
What are the yummy smells?
Look at her face.
I don't want to.
Everything that she writes is so wordy.
I know.
Not because it was our original plan, but because of you. Who? Who's you? Who has asked for this? Nobody asked for this.
Who?
And she has to ask.
Who?
And,
You.
okay, stop.
Who? You. Where's that from?
I don't know.
That's
Where is it
Orange
from?
County, Kelly Dodd and Shannon Bedore.
You're not even from here.
Look I can go to Target right now here in downtown and pick up the Blake Brown Bergamot Woods hair and body refresh mist.
Can you do it and bring it over and we can do a little try? A sampling?
Should I get all three?
Okay. But if we go and do it, you have to put on a full face mask.
She doesn't even have face masks.
You'll have to find one. You have to go into like the COVID bins.
Okay.
All right, let's go through this. Hold on. It's not even a clear picture. You can't even read it. Like my husband would be like, that's too soft. You can't read it. Oh. Did she just take stills from a video?
It's kind of like what it looks like.
Oh, this is from today. I want to see the annoying video from yesterday. She says, this is my first reel I've ever made. I had no idea you could add a caption, she says. I've also been leaving my flashlight on my iPhone these days without realizing it. That's how you know I'm vintage. What the fuck?
So she has wild nectar, saddlewood vanilla, not vanilla, but saddlewood vanilla, and bergamot woods vanilla. It's a sophisticated take on classic vanilla. Sandalwood vanilla starts crisp with bergamot, then softens into jasmine, warm saddlewood, and creamy vanilla, like your favorite cashmere sweater. Soft, warm, and impossible to forget. So yummy.
Okay, but she doesn't actually say so yummy.
No.
But can I ask you a question?
How does it already have 19 5-star customer reviews?
Let me ask you a question. Why? And number one, she has 2 comments on it because she still has her comments blocked, of course. But the best comment was on the Blake Brown Beauty. The first the first comment says, "Do these cover the smell of lies?" That's a good comment. Not one person asked for this. I bet the new perfume smells like lies and extortion.
Ooh.
But Natalie and Jeremy says, "Woohoo! Cannot wait to try. Life is like a bowl of cherries." Who's Melissa Nees? Wearing the sandalwood vanille today. Already getting compliments on my
See?
scent.
The
I mean, she's
vanilla.
gonna if someone compliments you, you're gonna sue them for sexual harassment, just like Justin Baldoni.
BRB running to Target.
I just started screaming and jumping up and down, and oh my god, who are these
Are
people?
these real accounts?
Let's find out. Is this bad use of our time? Trinity, why are you doing this, girl? I should
You're
stop.
gonna-
This is not good YouTube content. I just can't believe that there's people that still are like so excited about Blake Lively.
I know.
Well, she speaks for all women.
She's trying.
You know, she was talking about, I did Google something this weekend and I saw a video. I've never seen this before where she talked about her daughter being on a plane and watching videos of her husband getting his ass eaten out, mashed potatoes eaten out of his ass.
What?
Mm-hmm. Have you guys not seen that video?
No.
Oh, yeah. It's a big one.
Oh.
It's a real video. She's on a late night talk show. I think it's Jimmy Fallon. Daughter watching dad getting
Oh, look at she was giving free samples. That's why. Okay, because I was like, how are there already 19 people that have tried this product when it just launched like days ago? And so
and
Joan C from Connecticut says, I received a free sample of Blake Brown's Saddlewood Vanille, and I would love it. And I would love it without it being by Blake Lively. It's a great way to perk up my fragrance after a long morning or day. But she still gave it 5 stars. An elegant scent that lasts all day, and instantly I get constant compliments. You've had it for 2 days, Sam.
I mean, I could say that I get compliments about anything I eat, anything I wear. I mean, that's just the truth. It's like we can all lie.
It's idea for a midday pick-me-up, though the scent longevity could be longer. Great for those who prefer a soft, natural fragrance.
Okay, you guys have to watch this video. This is wild. Like this is the kind of stuff that I cannot believe every time they're on a talk show, this is the kind of stuff that happens, okay?
Okay.
How was Father's Day with Ryan? Was it good?
Well, we're
Yeah, I know
really
you had the baby.
thank you. Yeah, we're really good about keeping our family together.
Yes.
We don't work at the same time. We specifically weren't together on Father's Day. It's the first day that we've missed together. So I was on a plane with my baby James, and it's like it's kind of torture these days because I'm on a plane and everywhere I look, every screen is my husband in a sex montage throughout the holidays with another woman because everybody wants to watch Deadpool on the plane. Everyone. But like for 14
That's a
hours
little
having your
awkward.
husband having like mashed potatoes eaten out of his butthole.
No, yeah, all right. Well, hold on.
Because that's in the film.
Yep.
It's lovely. It's a cruel and unusual form of torture. And then my daughter goes, Dada!
Yeah,
And then she starts like hugging and kissing the screen
Baby
and
James.
waving at him, and he's not waving back, and she doesn't understand why he's not waving back at her because she thinks it's like FaceTime.
No, sure, of
And
course.
it's because Daddy's, getting it in
No, yeah.
the mashed potatoes.
No, of course the mashed potato scene. Yeah, I have it on as my screensaver.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure everybody here is going to be torturing me
but
by
you-
having.
no.
What?
What?
This girl cannot not be inappropriate wherever she goes. But that's what I'm saying. Rules for thee, not for me. That is
Well,
what
then,
this whole lawsuit is.
But it's like if she so casually talks about stuff like this, and if she was so openly and casually talking about stuff like
She
this
brought
on
it
the set of It
on.
Ends With Us, then like of course people are gonna respond and have, like she could very easily now sue Jimmy Fallon for harassment and being like, you were talking about my husband getting mashed potatoes eaten out of his butt in front of me. Like, ew, that's not appropriate. I did not give you consent to talk about my husband getting his ass eaten. like that in front of people, and you did it in front of people, and they're my witnesses. And you know, expatriate would go on threads and be like, that's so inappropriate. He didn't get her consent to talk about her husband's butthole in front of a live TV audience.
100%. And just FYI, really fast, I think I've recognized when she lies. She stutters. I and it's when she's lying. And she does it in the Time magazine speech, and she does it here, and she does it whenever she's doing one of these funny bits, and it's very well-timed jokes. And I can guarantee I would put money on it that she never went on this plane with James where she was like, Dada, when her dad was getting mashed potatoes eaten out of his ass. And I can guarantee you that never happened because she probably wasn't holding her daughter, James, because the nanny was. And I can guarantee this. So I think that she and her husband sit and they come up with funny bits for all of these late night talk shows, just like he did for the Green Day opening about the daughter doing cocaine. This is what they do. They come up with these bits for these funny late night talk shows, and it's all fucking lies. And
Well,
she stutters and she lies, and she is so sexually inappropriate, and she sexually harasses every single person she meets. So does her husband.
yeah, but also like we've all been on a plane. And so we know that Blake Lively's not sitting in the back by the lavatories. She's going to be up at the front in first class because that's just if she has to have Louboutins for every movie that she's in, she's not sitting in commercial. Okay. So how is she going to be seeing all these people's screens that are all watching Deadpool on the plane? The only way she would see that, the only way she would even pass all the common folk behind her is if she was seated at the back of the plane. Sorry, Rosa Parks, we don't believe you.
She's so relatable, though. She just realized how to make a reel and put a caption on. And she always leaves the flashlight on her iPhone. Vintage. I'm done. I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with her trying to be relatable. You know what? I was watching Jennifer Lawrence on Deadline yesterday, deadline.com. And Jennifer Lawrence speaks. I'm just going to show you guys because we're not women haters. We're not misogynists like people, that love Blake Lively like to say that we are. Because the difference is we can see authenticity in human beings and women specifically. And Jennifer Lawrence yesterday was on a panel speaking about her new movie that she has coming out where she's talking about being postpartum. And I'm obsessed with Jennifer Lawrence, just like I'm obsessed with Scarlett Johansson. There's some women out there that I just generally inherently love. And they speak so real, so authentically that you never get that feeling, that weird feeling about. For example, like when you see it, look at this beauty right here, okay? Scarlett Johansson. But I want to show you just how Jennifer Lawrence speaks very briefly on this panel. And look at the difference, the way she connects with her words versus Blake Lively when she does.
I'm not really an actor that brings the work home or, yes, a part of what she's going through is the hormonal imbalance that comes with postpartum, but she's also having an identity crisis. Who am I as a mother? Who am I as a wife? Who am I as a sexual person to my husband? Who am I as a creative? And I think she's plagued with this feeling that she's disappearing. So for me, I was 4.5, 5 months pregnant when we shot. I had great hormones, I was feeling great, which is really kind of the only way I would be able to dip into.
It's like such a different energy. It just feels like a real person. Blake is not real. None of her is real. It's all a farce. It's all fake. It's all a show.
Yeah.
She should have been Lily.
Yeah.
Think about how different that movie and this world would have been had she been Lily. Like Justin's life, it's like sliding doors. It's actually sad to think about.
Everyone's life, not just like Jenny Slate, Brandon Sklenar, Isabella, Jamie, Steve, Jennifer,
So
Melissa,
sad.
like
And all their wives and husbands.
families, kids, like it's affected so many people. And look at they all like Jenny Slate can't come out. Brandon Sklenar can't walk on a red carpet without getting scrutinized. And again, I know that they've sided with her, but I'm just saying, like, these people, their careers are now halted because of Blake, and she's just bopping around doing photos for the paparazzi, going and visiting Anna Winter. Like, she literally is looking so unbothered. And I know that that's part of her strategy is to look unbothered, but it's like, but you did, like, so many people are affected by this right now, you know?
Yeah, it's actually really sad. The narcissism is so blatant and so clear. And every time they show this public, like everything's fine, it's another like salt in the wound.
Yeah, to everyone that's has their careers on hold right now, you know?
Yeah, it's
Like,
mean.
what like,
It's
it's
so
obvious,
mean.
like, Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties obviously are getting it the worst, and they can't really do much either. You know, he wasn't even able to really be involved in Scarlett Johansson's movie because, obviously he's trying to stay as far away from anyone and anything that he can. And I thought she did a nice job of just, like, kind of addressing having to work with Wayfarer in a nice, very polite way without, like, overextending herself or shading them in any way. Like, I thought she handled it really well.
Yeah. Oh. Well, you guys, it's been a long morning talking about it. This, a lot of, there's always going to be people that are like, oh my God, can we move on from it? Can we move on? And I don't only talk about Blake, although it's kind of like hard not to because there's always a new development. Obviously, every day there's always like a Karen Reed conversation or a Real Housewives, or I want to talk about other things, although the time is run out for today and tomorrow. I'll add in. I want to talk about tomorrow. I'll talk about Sister Wives. I cried my eyes out. So I don't want to bring that up now at the end because it was like seriously the saddest episode of Sister Wives ever. Which is weird to say because that show is like supposed to make us laugh, but Robin, the only funny thing is Robin Brown called Cody Brown yummy. And I was like, okay, Blake,
So
calling your man yummy because he got on a horse. But we'll talk about everything else tomorrow. We'll add more conversation, and I can't wait to watch the Karen Reed trial from today. But any last words, Zach? Obviously, buy tickets for Zactivated. All of his live tour dates for this summer's tour. Go to your website, No Filter. Well, you plug.
Yeah, nofilterlive.com. But Donna's going to be there. She's going to be in the New York show and the Chicago show. Chef Stu's going to be in the Chicago show. Giorgio Says is going to be in the Philly show. Colonel Kurtz is going to be in the Dallas show. Andy from Popcorn Planet's we're trying to work it out where he can come to the Phoenix show. So lots of fun. Spill Sesh, if anybody likes Spill Sesh on YouTube, she's going to be in the LA show. So we have a lot of fun guests, fun surprises. And so every show is going to be a panel where like Donna and Stu are going to be on, and we're going to be talking about all the yummy discovery and all the Taylor Swift, Blake Lively of it all, and whatever other hot headlines, any other yummy headlines. And then the second half of the show is going to be a special guest interview. So,
and then you'll be at Dosers Live. So like,
and I'll be at Dosers Live in August.
Yes, and I'm going to dress like a flower, just a full flower to your shows.
Do the big flower dresses.
Big. And what can you dress up as?
Like Paige DeSorbo.
And what can you dress up to Dosers Live?
I'm gonna dress up as Deadpool.
I would die. Oh my gosh, so funny. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe. Let's get Zach to 100K. Subscribe to Daily Dose of Donna and put your bell on. I am here 5 days a week, and so is Zach. We love you guys so much.
Oh, can you imagine it? Cause I feel the magic. Oh.
Bye, you guys.